Welcome back and Happy New Year. It's Instigating with Clarkey and Drury back on the airwaves. Ryan Drury, Chris Clark, producer Adam, we're back in action. Fellas, I mean, Clarkey, Happy New Year, man. It's been a while.
Happy New Year to you. And I'm going to just make an excuse off the top here if I'm doing this a lot. I have lost my glasses. We took a couple weeks off and I cannot find my computer glasses. So that's just a little PSA moving forward that I'm going to be looking like this because I got to look out of the bottom of my glasses. You know what it's like. No, you don't.
No, I don't, because I don't lose stuff. And yeah, you're just looking out of like the bottom of your head right now for our viewers. That's great.
Anyway.
I want to mention, of course, we're always, as always, brought to you by our great friends at Coolbet Canada. Our friend Jake Bolin-Moss is going to come on in a little bit to chat about the upcoming opening wildcard round of the NFL playoffs. Lots of great matchups to get onto. And remember, you can always use my favorite bet builder tool on Coolbet. It's my favorite. But we're going to be chatting money line and spreads with our friend Jake. Of course, brought to you as always by the Listowel Squash Courts and our new friends at Larry Hudson's Chevrolet Buick GMC. Mr. Clark, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Very exciting for us.
Well, there you go. We do have a new sponsor here in 2023. Happy New Year. And right now, as you know, Ryan, I work there, so it's kind of good. But right now, we have an abundance of Colorados and canyons, blue and black. If you like blue, I love the blue color. Blue is my color, actually.
I'm a blue guy.
I love the blue. It's leaf blue. That's what I call it, maple leaf blue. But we have an abundance of them right now. So we have a special on right now. If you come on down to Larry Hudson's, free winter tires. How's that? Free winter tires. And who can't use a $500 gas card? That too, with every purchase of a Colorado or Canyon. There's the inside. It's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's really a nice little truck. It is the mid-sized truck. It's not the big Sierra or Silverado, but it's a very nicely equipped truck. So if you have a sales rep already, please come down and ask for your sales rep. If you don't, Clarkey is your guy.
Clarkey's your guy.
1000 Wallace Avenue North in Listowel. Hudson's has it.
Beautiful. I love it.
Free winter
tires. That? Free winter tires and hey, a $500 gas card and in this economy, that means you can fill up twice. So that's pretty great.
Come on now. The Colorado and Canyons are pretty good on gas. You know,
they are good on gas, actually.
They have the little 3.6 liter V6. So still, you can tow and stuff, but not bad on fuel
little
as well.
Trucks, eh?
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. Yep.
Got some punch. Absolutely.
They do.
You can fill up 4 times in today's economy.
I would say,
and that's nothing to do with the vehicle. That's nothing to do with the vehicle.
Price of the gas. I get it.
That's the evil gas wizards at Exxon or whoever the hell's extracting oil these days.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
thank you for that. But GMC color, hey, look at that. It's beautiful. Thanks to our friends at Larry Hudson's. You know who else is a little black and blue? Czechia. After that World Junior Final, man, oh man,
Czechia, not Czechia.
Yes, Czechia.
Yes,
thanks for checking me on Czechia.
No problem. Let's get the name of the country right.
And let's get the refereeing right. Like, okay, let's just get this out of the way.
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
Canada, awesome that they won gold. I'm thrilled that they won gold. That was the worst refed World Junior tournament of all time.
Hold on, why?
The refereeing was
atrocious. Are you talking about a certain call? I'm talking about
almost every single call. I would say the balance of 90% of the calls were horrific. And it all started started with the ridiculous Zach Dean 5-minute major in the opening game against Czechia on Boxing Day, which was embarrassing that was a call. He didn't even get the guy's head. And again, the European rules, you just let guys skate around with your head buried up your ass with a guy right against the boards with the puck. And the guy lays a clean check right into his chest and he gets a 5-minute major. We cannot, it's going to happen because it's the IIHF that sanctions the tournament. I can't do this anymore. Like the European style of reffing, I don't want it.
Here's the problem. You can't put a Canadian ref on when there's a Canadian game on. That's the problem. But I agree with you. Like, you just don't trust these guys to be, impartial. That's basically the bottom line, because we know that the best referees are in Canada and probably the U.S. to a certain degree as well. We know that. But
when it comes
to
the
IHF knows that.
Yeah.
But they can't do it. They can't do it.
And you're right. You're right. And it's not even for me, Clarkey, a question of impartiality. That's not my issue here. It's the standard and the things that they pick and choose.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that's the IHF's
right.
Excuse of not putting.
You don't want to have
ref.
nothing, but
they don't think they'll be impartial. Oh, the Canadian ref's going to just call penalties on the other team all the time. Come on,
right?
Come on. If you watch a Leaf game with a Canadian referee, give me a break.
You look. Now let's not get off track here.
Give me a break,
Austin Matthews.
It's not the way it goes.
But let's go the other way with that argument, though, because the way that the game was reffed, that Boxing Day game, and I'm not talking about just Canada here. I'm not whining on behalf of our guys not getting calls or something. Every game of the tournament was horrifically reffed. Yeah. I thought they were terrible from first whistle to last. I thought they were a joke, and it's frustrating for everybody. Most of these guys, the high-end guys, are going to go play in the NHL, where they're going to be used to a completely different standard of refereeing, the way the game should be played, with some physicality and some punch. And the calls that were not getting called on Canada in that Boxing Day game and in the gold medal game, Czechia should have been shorthanded about 5 or 6 times in the first period alone on their power play that they had. And I know what everybody's going to say. Ryan, both teams only had 1 power play. That's not what refs are there for.
Right.
You call
it's not to count how many power plays and then make up.
No,
it's not.
We're not Tim Peel here. This isn't about, this team's already had 2.
Right.
And this
so we
guy
better not
nudged the guy.
Exactly.
And I'm going to call interference because I feel bad making it 3 straight penalties. No. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty.
Right.
And on the power play that Czechia had, there were 2 hooks and a trip not called on Canada players trying to clear the puck. That is a blatant every single time call. When you're shorthanded, the referee should be enhanced on what you're doing. You're trying to just fight the puck out of the zone. It doesn't matter. I thought they were awful. I thought that the refereeing standard in every game, Sweden, Slovakia, Austria, Germany, they were all bad. And I never want to see that collection of referees again. And to be perfectly frank, it made me sick at the end on live television after Dylan Guenther scored the OT winner for golden goal with the one, I would say, the best goal song in Canadian World Juniors history, heaving away for the boys. Well, okay. I think he was just shocked. Like, he couldn't believe that he scored that goal.
Can Adam play it? Does Adam have that song? We should play it. We should play it.
That's putting him on the spot. Get it in post there, Adam.
Yeah.
No, play it. It's the best goal song ever, but it made me sick when they got awards at the end. The referee crew all got awards. I know they do it every year. I almost threw up.
Reward for the referees. It's crazy.
Let me just say this, and this is going to piss off a lot of our friends who are referees, our buddy Steve, of course, and there are a lot of great officials out there. But let me just be very clear. When it comes to the on-field, on-court, or on-ice product, that strictly, the referees are the worst part of sports.
They are.
They are.
Dude, Leafs Nashville Wednesday night was atrocious as well. It was awful.
That headshot on Kampf was
right?
A 5-minute major every day of the week. But Kampf got up.
You know what salt in the wound was? When they made him go to the dark room. The quiet room.
That made sense.
Of course it made sense, but also, how can you not call a penalty and then send him to the dark room? Like, give me a break. And the referee's like looking for that holding the stick call a minute earlier. And it's like, I didn't see the hold of the stick. I saw a lean and like, but how can you like make sure you call the holding the stick call, which isn't going to hurt anybody. And then
how do you see that
gets elbowed in the head, interference, not looking, targets the head, and no call. And then Morgan Riley gets a high stick in the face with a ref 5 feet from him with 4 minutes to go.
The Leafs in the high stick.
Luckily, they got together this time and made the right call. But like, how in the world?
I know.
And Ryan, I've said it for 10 years. They need one upstairs in the press
They
box.
do.
Take one off the ice and get one upstairs and let them watch things and let them look at replays and say, "Oh,
I can't do it anymore, Clarkey. Look,
it's ridiculous.
I can't do this dance that we're always going to do, you and me together and everybody else who's a sports fan.
Yep.
I can't do this anymore because the little dalliance that we do with Gary at his State of the Address at the Stanley Cup Final every year is that we have the best officials in the world.
No, they don't.
The best officials in the world.
You know what else?
And the game is really fast. The game is so fast. So if it's so fast, Gary,
right,
Gare Bear, help me out here in the new year, Gare.
Fix the problem that you do have.
Put somebody upstairs to help them out.
Exactly. Take one off the ice and put one upstairs. It is fast.
I agree.
Give him a whistle. When he blows a whistle into a microphone. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Right?
Gary.
But then you got guys like some of the media guys like Pierre LeBrun, and I knew Pierre when I worked in the media, but he's on
Cowboys
this thing about making sure that maybe there should be a play-in. Right? It's like, let's fix the problems that the game has instead of the problems that the game doesn't have. 16 teams make the playoffs. That's it. That's enough.
Yeah. We're tinkering too much.
Why do we want to play in? Because the NBA does it now? Give me a break.
We're not the NBA. The NHL's not the NBA. I don't even want to entertain that. Like, fix the easy stuff that's easy to fix. Get a ref upstairs, get rid of the trapezoid, and institute a luxury tax. There's my 3 right there. Just institute a luxury tax, Gary.
Oh, hey, you don't think I would love that?
You would love that. I'd love that too. You know how many players I'd love to have back? Come on.
Right.
All right. We got to take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back,
we're
going to chat with our friend from Coolbet, Jake Bolin-Moss, on his thoughts on Wild Card Weekend coming up here. And of course, this is the first time we've been back on air since obviously the horrific thing that we all witnessed with Damar Hamlin. It is incredible, the recovery and the bounce back this young man has had. Everybody in the football and sports world's been rooting for this guy. It's really incredible. We're obviously sending our well wishes to him, but I just wanted to make a quick mention of that because it's our first time back since that horrific injury in Cincinnati. Thumbs up to the on-field medical team and everybody at the University of Cincinnati Health, the hospital they took him, and obviously the facility back in Buffalo as well. All right, we'll take a quick break. NFL picks coming up next with Jake. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. Very pleased to be joined by our good buddy from our great sponsor at Coolbet, Jake Bolin-Moss, our betting expert. Jake, Happy New Year, man. How are you?
Happy New Year, boys. I'm excited for NFL playoffs, and the NHL is kind of ramping up halfway point, and a lot of fun stuff. College football is over. I'm a little sad about that, but I'm into the college basketball now, so right back on the train.
So midway point for our beloved Maple Leafs. Where do you see this team going? Let's open it up with a nice generic question for you. Do they have it right now, the team that can take us to the promised land?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm optimistic, and it's probably not good when I'm optimistic because I think people like me a lot better when I'm pessimistic. But I'm optimistic. Obviously, I think the record speaks for itself. Obviously, the regular season isn't necessarily the playoffs, and we've said that for years. They're an awesome regular season team, and then when it comes to the playoffs, they just haven't been able to get over that first round hump. Well, I think last year was a lot different. That playoff run last year felt like they almost deserved to win to a Tampa team that went all the way to the finals again for their 3rd straight year. So I think the experience will help. I don't know if it's the cup year, but I think this is the type of team that now has the experience in the playoffs. They have a couple different pieces. The goaltending, for the most part, has been probably better than people would have expected. And I mean, I don't know. I'm optimistic right now. I think obviously the Boston situation is insane. This team is like, they're putting up numbers that no one's ever really seen before. But I think they just got to keep rolling. Hope the goaltending situation, and then the health is the only thing that concerns me now. This Matthews, this whole situation with the injury, who knows what's going on there. But I'm optimistic, like I said.
Okay, a two-parter here.
Do you still think he can get to 50 real quick? Sorry, Clarkey. Do you think Matthews could still get to 50?
Yeah, I mean, depending on how long he's out, obviously, but we've seen the type of runs he can go on, a couple multi-goal games, and we're talking about 6-7 goals in a 3-4 game span. And I think he's right back on pace. Obviously, it's going to be tough depending on how many games he ends up playing. But who cares if he gets to 50 as long as he's ready for the playoffs, right? Like, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Clarkey.
Okay, so we're halfway through the season. We know their first round matchup will be the Tampa Bay Lightning. Crazy as that sounds. And you mentioned it earlier. They ran into them last year. It looks like, I mean, if things happen the way they look like they're going to happen, they're going to play them again. Are they going to match up well against them? And secondly, do they need to change this playoff format? Like, really?
Yeah, I'm big on the change the playoff format. We saw it last year where I think we would end up playing the Rangers, and I think that probably would have matched up a little bit better if they did the 1-8 type of one that plays 8, 2 plays 7. Obviously, I mean, I think the Leafs have the second best record across the NHL right now. I think I saw that today, and we're going to end up playing Tampa Bay, who's been to 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals in the first round. So yeah, I definitely think, first of all, I guess on the second question, in terms of playoff format, I think it needs to change for sure. Secondly, matchup. I mean, I don't think Tampa got that much better. Obviously, the Vasilevsky factor is something I'd always keep in the back of my mind. But I think if you hold on to that second spot, get the home ice, I don't expect them to walk through Tampa, but it feels like a team that could beat Tampa in 6 or 7. Obviously, it could go the other way. Tampa beats them in 6 or 7, but I don't see it being a scenario where they're gonna Tampa's gonna overpower them by any means. And I think, and the Leafs, I think, would know what they're getting themselves into with Tampa. They've seen them before, right? And we just hope it's not like the Boston first round exits that we've seen. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the new Boston, that wouldn't be good.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, I agree. Like, I just want them to go back to 1v8 and on down 2-7, because like Gary's built this whole thing with, we're built on rivalries, and like, rivalries are great. It's great, but the rivalries aren't going to go anywhere. Like, Toronto Boston's always going to be a hot ticket. Is it fun in the playoffs? Yes. But, or Wash Pitt in the heyday, Chicago, Vancouver. Yeah. Like, the rivalries are fun. What about the opportunity for new rivalries? I just mentioned Vancouver, Chicago. That wasn't a rivalry until they started playing each other in the playoffs, and they were still doing the 1v8 thing. Then it became a rivalry. What about the opportunity for new rivalries, Gary? Come on. We want to throw our money down on some interesting stuff here. We don't want to see the same teams all the time.
Well, I agree. And if they love the rivalries so much, wouldn't it be better if the Leafs played Boston in the conference final?
Yes.
As opposed to the first round?
Yes.
Who cares about the first round?
Right.
Like, why not play Boston in the conference final? And then it's like, wow, look at this Leafs-Boston rivalry that we've talked about. They're meeting in the playoffs in a super important series for both teams. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at the standings now. If it was 1v8, it'd be Boston, Pitt. We'd still end up playing Tampa as it stood today. Obviously, that might change. But it looks like in the Eastern Conference, if I have that right, Boston, Pitt, Tampa, Toronto, Carolina, Washington, New York, New Jersey, just based on point standings there. But
oh my God. New York, New Jersey in the first round.
That would be great.
Yeah, that's another one that could be second or third round.
Talk about rivalries.
Carolina Wash, they have a hate on for Rod the Bod, and Ovi beat up Svechnikov a couple of years ago. Yeah, like, come on, mix it up a little bit here, Gary. Like, I don't know. I completely agree with that. And overall, I think the Leafs are in pretty good shape, as they always are at this time of year.
They're playing a lot better playoff hockey. They really are. Their goals against is way down.
No doubt.
They have for some reason, they have great depth of defense right now. Like, Connor Timmins is coming in and playing well. Like, I'm finding it hard to take him out of the lineup. I really am.
The Toronto Sioux Greyhounds have really
he's been good.
Stepped it up.
He's been good.
And jokes aside, he's come in and given them some valuable minutes. He really, really has, after being a cast-off from Mullet Arena.
He can move the puck. He's big. He can hit. He can shoot. He's got all the tools, it seems.
He looks like how scouts were saying he'd look when he had that Great World Juniors 3 or 4 years ago. Like, he's looking like that player. And remember, he's still a young defenseman. We're not saying this guy's going to be a world beater or something on a Stanley Cup run, but he's fit in well and just played his game and looked really, really good. I do wonder as well, Jake, before we move on to our NFL picks, which is the big focus. It's a big weekend, one of the most fun weekends to bet on. And remember to use our friends at Coolbet to do that. NFL wildcard weekend. But before we do that, really quick, the Maple Leafs, Are you a little worried about the goaltending? Since December 15th, they're dead last in team save percentage, but they're still second in expected goals defense. So are you a little bit worried about this teeter from Murray and more specifically Samsonov?
Well, I think obviously that's a little bit concerning, but I think if you look at it as a whole, they probably, like I said, they were way better than they probably should have been to start the season. So I think if you can just find a nice middle ground, then it's not going to be a problem. And I think you just let ride the hot hand, right? So on a back-to-back, you're not going to ride a hot hand. We'll probably see Samsonov tonight. I'm not sure if he ever got confirmed. I was just looking at the starting goalies. But I think you just want to ride the hot hand, and whoever's playing the best going into playoffs, that's who you're going to start in game one. Yeah. So, I mean, Murray's been there. I think that's an important factor, and I know he's not always at his ultimate best, but we saw last night he made some great saves in the game. I was just catching out of the corner of my eye. And I don't know. I'm not too worried about the goaltending just yet. Obviously, if it keeps up at the state you're talking about, Ryan, then yeah, maybe it's something they address. But I don't see them kind of making a move on goaltenders. And like you said, the defense has stepped it up way up, where if you can just find a nice middle ground, we're in a good spot.
Jake, he's just trying to rile us up. Like, let's be honest. Like, these guys had a couple of bad games, Ryan. I agree, but they bounced back. Samsonov gave up 1 goal Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. And then Murray came in, gave up 2, and then he outplayed Saros on Wednesday night against Nashville, and that's not easy to do. He did. He outplayed him. So they're back. So they made it went down, but then now they're back up. We're fine.
I'm not trying to rile you up. I'm just saying over the last month, the numbers are the numbers. They're last. Now, like Jake said, were they as good as they were at like 930 save percentages? No, they're not this bad either. And the one thing I will say as a Samsonov detractor for very good reason. Yeah. I've just been hurt too many times, guys. I've been hurt too many times. I will say this. You mentioned Murray's cup experience, 2 cups. Samsonov's played in playoff games too. It's not like they're going in with 2 guys that are green and don't know what the playoffs are all about. Mm-hmm. They both get what the beast is all about. And overall, I think that they'll be fine.
How's Jack Campbell doing? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Jack Campbell is the best non-signing in history.
Yeah, for sure. It was.
Jack Campbell's tying Stuart Skinner.
I like the guy, but he's just too fragile.
He's a very likable guy. He's a very likable guy. Sure. No questions asked. Likable goalie? This year's been tough. Let's dig into some picks here. It all starts Saturday. Remember, our friends at Coolbet are the place to go to bet on NFL playoffs. Let's start with Seahawks Niners. The line is 9.5, which, given what Seattle was able to do, it's incredible they made the playoffs. People were talking about this team at the start of the year with Geno under center being like a 2 or 3 win team. No way. He broke franchise records for passing yards. Geno was legit. They got that Walker kid back there. They got a good running game. I think 9.5 in terms of a line is a little bit generous, Jake, but I do like the Niners on the money line. That defense is just too good. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, and that Niners, just the way they have them playing on offense too, even though it's Brock Purdy, and I know that's everyone's big concern.
Mr. Relevant.
How's the rookie going to look in his first playoff game? But I don't know. I mean, I think you can rely on the run defense if you're San Fran. You know the O-line's going to give you the run offense. You know the O-line's going to give you what you need, and you could probably just lean on McCaffrey, whether it's little dump offs, whether it's little handoffs, Deebo Samuel. I don't know. Hard to go against the Niners here. Maybe if you're looking at it like, well, it's a divisional game. Like, how much does Pete Carroll know? Can he keep it within the 9? Maybe you're not necessarily leaning spread, but I don't know. You can get the Niners teased down to 3.5 with something else from the weekend. I don't hate that play right there. I think the Niners are a team that can put up points and stop you from putting up points. So. Problem.
I completely agree. McCaffrey's the X factor. He's just such a dynamic playmaker. There aren't many guys in the league like him. Chargers Jags will round out action on Saturday. Trevor Lawrence, how about that? Making Urban Meyer look awful stupid down in FLA. What a gas can that organization was a year ago. They turned it around, and down the stretch, and I know because I played fantasy football, I'm sure you did too, Trevor Lawrence was a machine the last 5 weeks of the season. Doug Peterson's got that team playing unbelievable ball. Me personally, I still like the Chargers. I think their defense can really get in his face with Mr. Bosa, the other Bosa. No disrespect to Joey, but we've got a 2.5 line for the Chargers. I like the Chargers to cover that. I just don't think the Jags defense can hang as much with the Chargers defense. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't disagree with you in terms of the Chargers covering, but it feels like one of these underdogs is going to win outright. And this feels like it could be, obviously it's the closest one, but maybe it's Jacksonville. Jacksonville gets the home game, and we know they've had some home playoff games in the past. I think they won the division, I don't know, 5-6 years ago when they had Bortles, went all the way to an AFC championship. So I don't know if that place is rocking and they're up in Herbert's grill when he's on offense. I don't know. I think they can make it difficult. I think it could be tight. I'd probably lean value on maybe Jacksonville money line, but I don't necessarily believe that another guy who's making his first playoff start. I guess they both are. This is his first playoff start for Herbert too. Do I have that right?
I think he's played a wild card game and lost.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you're right. I'm not sure, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence, do you want to rely on a guy who's never made a start in the playoffs before? I don't know, but maybe it's one of those scenarios where you don't know what you're getting yourself into. It's your first playoff game, and you're just like, well, let's just go out and ball. So I'd probably lean value-wise Jacksonville money line, but I don't disagree with you in terms of the Chargers covering that 2.5. And I think at one point it was a pick 'em for this game, and now it's up to 2.5, which makes me think probably the smart money is on the Chargers.
Yeah, I would think so too. And Mike Williams is going to be healthy. Etienne Jr. could be a big X factor there. And hey, the Jags could absolutely win. I'm just more comfortable with the big hose on Herbert. I think that guy can launch it, and he's probably going to come up with a big play. We move into Sunday. This was going to be a marquee matchup, but Tua is not going to play. And the line was originally 9.5 for Bills Dolphins. It screamed all the way up to 13.5. I think the Bills are kind of a team of destiny now. They've got that extra motivation, not that they needed any after the Damar Hamlin thing and his heroic recovery and all of that stuff. If he's in the building on Sunday, or if they even just put him on the screen, that place is going to explode. I like the 13.5 is a lot of points in a playoff game. I like the Bills to cover it. Zach Thompson is the third string quarterback in Miami. He has not looked comfortable back there. I think Josh Allen is going to tear off 45, maybe 50 plus on a depleted Dolphins defense. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I guess your only concern would be the back door, right? This Dolphins team, obviously they were hoping it was going to be Tua. It's probably better that it's not Tua given what's happened this season. Yeah, like you said, we saw it at 9.5, and I think that probably was with Tua expected not to play, but they weren't sure, so I think that's why you saw it there. I think if maybe Tua's in, it maybe drops down to like a 6.5, 7. Well, obviously they confirmed Tua was out. Now it's up to 13.5. I think you said. Yeah, I'm seeing 13 on Coolbet, but regardless, it's a big number. But the Bills can definitely cover that, especially at home. I don't see the Dolphins putting up a whole lot of points, so if the Bills put up 24, Dolphins 10, I think that's probably the score we're looking at. And that's if the Dolphins put up 10, right? I just don't see them doing a whole lot. And the Bills defense is the one thing that not a lot of people are talking about. It hasn't been as good as it was at the start of the season, but I think it's something that can come alive in the playoffs, especially in front of the home crowd. So, yeah, I won't argue too much with you there on Bills covering. It's hard to bet the Dolphins given their situation.
I completely agree. All right. You mentioned when we were talking about the Jags, one of these underdogs potentially with an upset. And I like the Giants to do just that. I hate Kirk Cousins. I've been burned too many times. I've been hurt, guys, and I'm not doing it again. I don't like that, Kirk. I think Brian Daboll is going to coach the hell out of this game. That Giants stuff him in your face defense is going to get in Kirky's grill all night. I like them to not only cover the 3 Minnesota's favored by, I like Giants money line, Jake. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's the one I was leaning towards as well. I don't know, something about the Vikings, as many games as they won this year, all those really close ones, and it never really felt like they were a dominant team at any point of the season, and that's crazy to say based on their record, but I don't know. The Vikings just don't do it for me. Not necessarily that the Giants do, but it just feels like a team that could go into Minnesota and make the upset happen. So right now, I think their money line plus 136 I'm seeing. That's value I like right there. I'm not big on Kirk Cousins myself. I don't know if I'm buying the Vikings. I mean, the only guy I'm truly, truly worried about is Justin Jefferson just taking over the game, which we've seen him do a number of times this season. But I think I lean on the value side of the Giants money line there. It's so hard to bet against the home team, but yeah, I think I like the Giants as well.
I do too. All right, our final Sunday game, Ravens-Bengals, the spread's at 10. Doesn't sound like we're going to see Lamar. Doesn't sound like we're going to see Tyler Huntley. So the Ravens are going to be rocking and rolling with a third stringer too. Joey Cigars, he won me a fantasy championship this year. You don't bet against Joey Cigars in a must-win game. I like the Bengals to cover the 10 in a big blowout here. I think we might be looking at something like 35-10 Bengals. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, another one of those divisional matchups that we're getting in this wildcard weekend, but not what we would have hoped for. Obviously, Lamar Jackson makes a huge difference for that Ravens team. And the Ravens defense has been all right during the season, but a lot of injuries for that Ravens team across the board. And I think Burrow's just got too many weapons to kind of worry about the Ravens, because his third best receiver is probably the best receiver on the Ravens this season. So that's kind of the way it's been. And then they picked up Hayden Hurst this year. He's been awesome for the Bengals. I think too many weapons, like you said, on the Bengals. And it's not really shaping up to be like a crazy wildcard weekend. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully we get a huge weekend. But this is the way the spreads are looking. We got almost 3 double-digit spreads now with a 9.5, a 9, and a 13. I don't know, not shaping up to be too fun. It could, maybe all the favorites win at the end of the day. Who knows?
You never know. Well, Monday night could be the one that's real intriguing for many different reasons. This is really a who's not going to lose the game. It feels like Dallas, Tampa, Bucks hosting. Dallas favored by 2.5. I don't know where to go on this one. I hate to bet against our guy, Tommy Brady, at 45 years old. I don't love betting on Dak either, though, here. Like, I just don't know how to feel about this game. I think this is a field goal. I like Tampa to cover. I think Dallas gets it done. I just think their defense is way, way better than the Bucks. I don't know how you feel, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have asked me midway through the season and this was the matchup, I'm probably all over Dallas, just the way Tampa played for pretty much most of the season. They get in by winning the division, but then it's like, okay, how are we going to bet against Tom Brady after all these years? I think I saw today as a home underdog in the playoffs. I think he's 4-0 straight up, 4-0 against the spread. I'm probably going Bucks money line just straight from my heart, not really based on the factors of the game. I think he's undefeated against Dallas in his career.
He is 7-0.
It's just I don't know. I have a hard time betting against Tom Brady, and it's not like Dallas has really blown me away this year. Yeah, maybe a couple games where they looked like they were world beaters, but not enough that I'm just like, wow, the Dallas Cowboys are the team to beat. And last year, I think I had them in the first round in my playoff bracket pool, and I think they screwed me. So I'm probably not going to fall for that same trap again. It's probably Tommy B for me.
There you go. Gilmore agrees. Gilmore making a late appearance on the show here. No, we love it. Gilmore's the unofficial mascot. Let's get Gilmore on the show more. She agrees. Tom Brady, he's hard to bet against. Jake, we really appreciate your insight. Hey,
hold on. One quick one.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers, has he played his last game with the Packers or what? What do you think?
No.
I want to say yes, but not based on anything that I know. I don't know. He kind of screwed them around last year with and the last couple of years have been weird with Aaron Rodgers, but
yeah,
I just have a hard time believing a team's going to trade for that that contract's tough to pay out right now. And obviously he's an awesome quarterback and not taking anything away from him, but I don't know. I want to say yes. I want to say he probably moves on somewhere. But what do I know?
Cranky
we'll
fella.
Find out.
Vegas is looking for a guy.
Yeah.
Real quick. Stidham.
Just Stidham. Hammer it. Really quick, I know the World Cup's long over. You got to go over to Qatar. What was that like?
Yeah, it was incredible. Completely different world over there. Awesome time, but super North Americanized too. A ton of restaurants that you recognize KFC, Wendy's, McDonald's. Like, it was crazy. You walk into the mall and you're like, I have all these same restaurants in the malls I go to back home. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Ubers were super cheap because of the gas reserve they have over there. And you don't pay a delivery fee when you order food. So that's some of the stuff I took away. Obviously, the games were amazing. I got to go to the 3 Canada games and then 2 other ones, Australia, Tunisia, and Ecuador, Senegal, maybe. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. Just the atmospheres were awesome. And I was happy to see Messi go and win it all when I was back home. So.
Yeah, I was too. It's the cherry on top of a magical career for Mr. Messi. As always, we appreciate your insight, brother. We're glad you enjoyed Qatar. We're glad you're back and setting us up for what should be a fun NFL wildcard weekend. Jake, thanks for doing this, brother.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Clarkey and I pre-recorded a really great interview with a local athlete, Hannah Tait. She is representing Canada at the University Winter Games down in Lake Placid. She plays for the Guelph Gryphons. Our chat with Hannah coming up next here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. Drury still here alongside Chris Clark. Happy New Year, everybody. I know, it's not too late to be saying that. It's our first show back. I think we can still get away with telling people Happy New Year. Clarkey, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm back. Still alive. It's good. Yeah. Still playing squash. Top 10 still.
Okay. Yeah. We're not starting the year off with squash talk.
Yeah, we are. Top 10.
No, we're not. Top 10. Because we don't care about your top 10. But we've got a top 10, some might say top tier guest on the show right now. Hannah Tait of the Guelph Gryphons, obviously playing CIS hockey. She is going to be taking part in the University Winter Games. That's in Lake Placid. And when the show airs, it will be just underway. Hannah, how are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me. How are you guys? You guys are good. You just said that. But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited. It's a new year. Happy to be here.
As you should be. I mean, obviously, first things first, obviously it's exciting for you. You're going to be playing in the university games. Of course, Clarkey, we've interviewed people that have played in that. Of course, our friend Garrett McFadden, former Guelph Storm captain, he played in the winter university games a few years ago when they were held over in Russia. I know he had a great time. Obviously, that was a different world back then when Russia was hosting things. It'll be a little different vibe in Lake Placid, which is the site of many incredible hockey moments, including, of course, 1980. I guess first things first, Hannah, how's your season been going with the Guelph Gryphons? I know that they've got a really great program there. How are you enjoying the season?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been really great to be back full, no restrictions with COVID and that sort of thing. We had a pretty solid first half. We have a really nice, good group of girls, fairly young team still, but we finished, I think, third in our West division of the OUA. We're really tight with the Windsor, who's just above us. But yeah, we had a really good start. Lots of injuries, including myself. So a little bit of adversity to get through, but I think we have, we're really looking forward to this second half and hopefully peaking at the right time. And I think we have a lot more than we even showed last half, but it was a good start for sure.
That's good. And Team Canada, you must be excited to put on the red and white for Canada coming up. When did you know you were on the radar screen, and how was the process as the selection was going on?
Yeah, for sure. So I found out probably mid-September. So shortly after kind of coming back to Guelph, getting back into the swing of things, my coaches kind of just pulled me in and they're like, hey, look, you're on the long list for these World University Games in January. So just keep doing what you're doing. We don't want this to stress you out. Just play your game. They're just going to be watching you a little bit. So yeah, I found that out. And then November, they kind of November 1st, they shortened the list a little bit. So I knew I was still on the list, but I was competing with less girls. And then about halfway through November, I actually fell on my shoulder awkwardly and got injured. So that was a little bit scary for me because I knew they had seen me a little bit, but I wasn't sure where their heads were at. And I was pretty fortunate because one of my assistant coaches, Katie, she's also one of the assistant coaches for Team Canada. So she was pretty in the know and just kind of reassuring me it's okay. They know what you're capable of, that sort of thing. And then I kind of officially found out at the end of November that I was on the team. And it was I tried not to really think about it too much until I knew, because it's like easy to get your hopes up and that sort of thing. So when I found out, it was just kind of like crazy. Like I never thought. I don't know. It was just, really weird moment, but awesome, really exciting.
I guess so. And I guess, I don't know if you watched the World Juniors last week, but just the excitement of putting on that sweater. Did you sort of look at the juniors maybe a little bit different this time, thinking, I'm going to wear that jersey coming up?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's honestly something that I never thought, and I always cheer. And I've had lots of friends like that have made like U18 worlds, and a good friend of mine actually went to the last Olympics. She was an alternate, like, and I've been around people that have worn it, but I've never really like, obviously everybody dreams of wearing it, but I honestly never thought it would come true for me. So yeah, watching the World Juniors, it's getting me really excited, and just crazy to me.
Hannah, obviously, you're at a great school for hockey in Guelph. I'm pretty familiar with some of the people over on the men's side of the program. Of course, someone very well known to the Listowel area here where we live, Clarkey, obviously Tonka Ted over there. Obviously Tonka Ted Nickel, the former captain of the Frontenacs, played for the Gryphons. Believe he's still playing there. And obviously a lot of great OHL players go through. What's it like for you? You find out you're playing for Team Canada, but in that lead up, you mentioned, you suffer an injury, and it's not similar to kind of where guys are maybe playing in the OHL and they're in high school. You're also taking university courses on top of this. It's a heavy workload. And then on top of that, you suffer an injury. What is your mindset during that time, and how are you kind of trying to keep yourself positive amongst that very heavy workload?
Yeah, it's a lot, honestly. It's I'm very fortunate, like you're saying, at Guelph. We have great hockey programs, but just a great athletic department as a whole. Like, there's lots of support for athletes, whether it's mental health, like physical, lots of injury help. Like, I've been able to get into the sports doc lots. And honestly, my teammates have really helped me. Like, I know I'm going to be missing the first 2 weeks of classes. I know someone in every class. They're like, we'll send you everything. Like, we'll help you out. Like, there's just the support system here is just phenomenal, like in so many ways, and my teammates have really helped me through everything. And my coaches, I can't say enough amazing things about them, and the men's team even, like I know Ted fairly well, and just great relationship with all athletes here, and lots of support whenever you need it.
Well,
Ted's
you said
quite a guy. Yeah, go ahead, Clark.
I was going to say, you said you can't say enough about your coaches, but tell us about some of the coaches who were had a big influence on you growing up. I mean, you're living now in the Exeter area. Where did you play your hockey growing up? And give a shout out to some of those coaches. Yeah,
for sure. So I started playing in the Exeter area. I played a little bit of boys and a little bit of girls. I played up with my sister. She was a couple years older than me. So I had some great female coaches when I was growing up. Krista McCann being one of them, Carrie Fulton. Like, they were just amazing female role models. And I played another year of boys. Derek Beckett was our coach. And we went to the OMHA finals, and that was my last year before heading to the girls' side in London. An amazing team that was as well. But yeah, in London, I had another group of amazing coaches, Annette Darby being one that stands out to me. I was really successful in junior with Ted Brown. He always believed in me, and he helped me get to that next level and then connect with Rachel. But I would say that, the biggest influencers in my hockey career as coaches would be Rachel Flanagan and Katie Mora, who I have here at Guelph. I think it's just, they've both been captains of the University of Guelph. They played here. They're from here. Like, they've been here a while. So they're a lot more than just a coach. Like, they're anything you ever need. They're always there for you. They believe in you. They push you. They do it right. And I wouldn't be the player that I am today without them. Truly, it sounds kind of cliche, but it's very true. And I'm super excited that Katie will be traveling with me to FISU as well.
We're chatting with Hannah Tait, an Exeter native, of course, playing for the Guelph Gryphons team, and she's going to be representing Canada at the University Games in Lake Placid. Hannah, you're talking about your role models as coaches, and obviously they play such a key role in any athlete's development as a young person. But of course, to get into any sport, you're inspired by people you're watching and seeing on TV that play the sport. And women's hockey and women's sports in general, rightly so, has been getting a much more increased platform, specifically over the last 5-10 years. But the women's national team was always a pretty big deal, right from when they started playing at the Olympics in 98 all the way through. I'm sure you grew up watching and idolizing some of those great women over the years. I always like to ask athletes, who inspired you? Was there a pro player that did it? Who were some athletes that you saw playing the game where you thought, I'd like to do that too?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like for a lot of girls, Haley Wickenheiser is a big one, just a legend in the female hockey world. And then more recently, kind of later on, would be Marie-Philip Poulin. I think she's just incredible. Just the way that she carries herself on and off the ice is just amazing. Like, one thing that I kind of struggle with is sometimes having confidence, like as a leader and that sort of thing, or like if it's like a shootout, or that's like, even if my coaches want me to go, I'm kind of like, but like just watching her, like, I'm just thinking, I think it was at the Worlds, like there was like a penalty shot and they put her out and just goes in, scores, just knows, like just so confident, but also just so humble at the same time. So she's definitely probably the biggest one for me, I would say.
Full disclosure, Ryan, when we got that snowfall on Christmas Eve, I was stuck at my girlfriend Sue's, and not stuck there. That was not the right word, but I was supposed to come back home. I was supposed to come back home. I was supposed to come back home to spend Christmas Day with my daughter, but I obviously couldn't get out. And Hannah's parents, Rob and Irene, invited us down to play some cards, and it was a great evening. Got to know Hannah a little bit, and her brother Charlie was there as well. But one thing that you mentioned to me, which I found very interesting that night, was the competition in hockey. Obviously, it's a physical game, and you start a hate on for some of your opponents. Well, now all of a sudden, some of your opponents are going to be your teammates here for Team Canada. How was that? Tell us. Maybe not exactly what you said to me on Christmas Eve, but like, just how is that now playing with some of these people who have been your, a bitter rival?
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't like practiced with the team or anything yet, or like got to know them in person, but we've had a few meetings and stuff, and it'll be interesting at the start. I'm sure we'll probably, when we connect, like talk about sometimes that we annoyed each other on the ice, but it's honestly as annoying as not annoying, but as like awkward as it might be kind of at the start, it'll be really nice to like, The reason I don't like playing against them is because they're really talented players that can make me look silly sometimes and that sort of thing. So to be able to play with them, I think will be a really, really great experience. And then coming back, like after the games, I think we play like Nipissing shortly after, and then I think Waterloo again. And like, so now I'll have friends that I'm playing against. Right. And it'll be an interesting dynamic, but yeah, I'm excited to play with. There's some really skilled players I'll be playing with, so that'll be fun.
No, for sure, and it'll be different though. When after you play with them here as a group, to face them in your league play, it'll be different, I'm sure.
Absolutely, I'm really excited. Also, a girl on my team is from Japan, so she'll be playing for Team Japan at the FISU game. Nice. So a girl on my Guelph team. So we're really excited to play against each other there as well. Obviously, we're not going to take it easy on each other on the ice, but I'm sure I'll see her around. And I think our Guelph friends are going to host a little watch party for that, but that'll be interesting as well.
And who do you think the main competition will be at the games? You done any pre-scouting?
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know. Like Japan, Chi is saying like a lot of their like Olympic national team will be on there, and like she's like, don't count us out. Like we're coming at you hard. Like USA obviously is always a good contender. Russia won't be there this year, so I guess maybe that's good for us. But I don't know. I think it'll all be tough, to be honest. But interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a great tournament. I always find it fascinating, when players at any level have to come together and represent the country. Obviously, everybody's excited to be there, but it can be kind of interesting when somebody that you were maybe slashing in the back of the ankles 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden they're on your line or something. And I'll say this too. I mean, Clarkey, this, one of my favorite event I've still ever done play-by-play for. I did play-by-play for the Canadian National Women's Under-17 tournament a few years ago. And the chirping was absolutely vicious. I thought that that I had heard some wild chirps in my days, just playing men's hockey and some senior. the chirping was on another level. Like there was some vicious stuff being exchanged. It was quite an adventure.
Are you one of those chirpers, Hannah?
I wouldn't say like vicious, but I feel like I can throw in the odd one that kind of like catches someone off guard, but not usually too mean, but like just something that, can be a little bit aggravating the odd time, but not usually. It takes a lot to get me there, so.
You got to have one or two stuffed in the glove, like that you can pull out, when necessary. Line up for a face-off. You got to have something to say every now and again. That was my favorite part of the game, and is a big reason why I'm not playing it now.
Maybe you should practice some Japanese, and you can, chirp your teammate.
Exactly. Maybe she can give me stuff that I should say that would really bother some of them. But yeah,
a couple phrases here and there. Exactly. Hannah, I'm interested as well. Obviously, you're playing in a great program. You're representing Canada. Obviously, you're on the radar for this team. And I know at the next level, which of course is Olympics, professional women's hockey, the PHF, you're going to obviously be on the radar at that level too. I mean, you pull a Canada sweater on, let alone being a high-level CIS athlete, you pull a Canada sweater on, people are going to be paying attention. What is your goal with the game beyond school and what you're up to now? I know you're studying, I believe, finance, economics and finance, which is a good thing to have in your back pocket. But what's your goal ultimately with the game?
Yeah, to be honest, it's really great to see how far things are coming along, and like women are starting to get paid more, that sort of thing. I think to play pro would be really, really interesting. I wouldn't say, like, I also have like some like career goals and that sort of thing. I've always been pretty motivated in the classroom, but I would say to play like professional hockey, either in like the PWHPA or like in the league that like the Toronto Sixes, and I don't know, I'm blanking on the name right now.
The PHF, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. That's what that would be really cool. And I know some girls, Katie Lowy being one, she was the captain of Guelph a few years ago before I got here. She led them to their national title. Like she played over in Europe for a few years. That's something I would definitely be interested in doing.
Well, I think that you're on the right track. And I mean, I can tell you just from experience, obviously, Clarkey, cousin Brad in the NHL, his son is playing over in Norway this year. And there's a lot of great opportunities for men and women over there with fully sanctioned pro leagues that, he just can't say enough good things about some of the stuff set up over in kind of the Nordic European countries. They got a lot of great infrastructure for men and women to go play there professionally. I do wonder as well, obviously doing a bit of research as I do on our guests and mentioning that, you're majoring, I believe, in economics and finance. That might not be a bad thing to have in your pocket, when you're done playing. Maybe you sit in the GM's chair. Is that something that would ever interest you?
To be honest, I haven't like specifically considered it, but I'm pretty open to whatever, like kind of wherever my work takes me. Like it's definitely something I would probably consider doing. I started actually in biomedical engineering at Guelph. I thought I was really into the sciences and started doing that, and then realized that wasn't exactly for me. And so I switched to business, and then I've done a little bit of like accounting stuff, and I've kind of been all over. But yeah, that definitely seems like an interesting spot to get into and work my way up to. But yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting. Obviously, I think you've got a lot of different paths ahead of you, and just playing wise, you're obviously on a great career track. We really appreciate you joining us, Hannah. Best of luck at the university games. We're obviously full behind Team Canada. We're excited for you guys, and we'll be cheering you on. Thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, plenty more to chat about in the sports world, including obviously the conclusion of the World Juniors, and plenty to talk about as the NFL playoffs are around the corner. Stick with us here on Instigating. Back to wrap things up here on our first Instigating with Clarkey and Drury of 2023. Ryan Drury, Chris Clark, our producer Adam, back in the fold, keeping us on the airwaves. Really appreciate it. Obviously, a great show. Jake Bolin-Moss joining us from our friends at Coolbet to preview a great NFL wildcard weekend. Make sure you use our friends at Coolbet to place all your bets on all 6 exciting games. And of course, we really appreciate Hannah Tait of the Guelph Gryphons for joining us. And Clarkey,
Team
right
Canada,
now,
Team Canada. And
he's on Team Canada.
Team Canada.
At the Winter University Games in Lake Placid, New York.
Yeah.
Site of the Miracle on Ice. Al Michaels, do you believe in miracles? Yes, we do. Canada never needs a miracle to win, though. Let's be honest here.
Good start.
Give us an update.
Good start Wednesday. Good start against Slovakia. 4-0 start for Team Canada. So they're 1-0 as we record. Their next game is on Saturday. Now, I'm just saying what it says on the website for the official tournament. They play the Czech Republic. Well, I think we know they're Czechia now, but I don't know.
Change that.
I don't know. It says Czech Republic. So anyway, that is Saturday game 2. So Hannah Tait's Team Canada off to a good start. And you know what? Like, haven't we had a couple of incredible amateur athletes in the last month on this show with Hannah and Lauren Campbell? Like unbelievably well-spoken young women, and the future is bright for both of them for sure.
Yeah, the future bright for athletics across many different genres of sports, if you will. Yeah. Of course, Lauren, an extremely talented swimmer heading to Illinois State. That's going to be incredible. Go Redbirds. We got to have her back on.
For sure.
You got to remember to remind me. We got to have her back on as she begins her semester next year.
Don't worry. We'll get her on.
I would love to hear all about the facilities. Maybe she can take us on a little tour through the facility. Like, that would be really cool. And Hannah's just
she might have a PR person by then. We might have to go through PR.
It might be you.
Goodness. She might be a big wig by then. Come on.
You might be doing PR for her, man.
I don't.
This is a fun episode to get us back into 2023.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate everybody watching us on Whiteman TV. Remember, you can watch the show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. We debut on our YouTube channel Friday nights at 9. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. We really appreciate our great sponsors, Coolbet, our friends at the Listowel Squash Courts, our brand new friends at Larry Hudson's, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC. If you're looking for a new truck, Clarkey.
Hudson's has it.
Clarkey will hook you up. If you don't have somebody already,
give me a call.
Clarkey is the guy.
Give me a call or drop in.
See.
Call
Easy
first to be better.
Place to find 1000 Wallace Avenue right here in beautiful Listowel, Ontario. Thanks to our new friends over at Larry Hudson's. All right, Clarkey, that's it. You got any final thoughts here?
No, 2023 is going to be an amazing year. And it's going to be
find
the year.
Your glasses.
It's going to be I'm going to hopefully find my glasses for next show. But I just think something special is going to happen with my team. I really, really do. And I haven't said that for more than 45 years straight now. So I think this is the time. I really do.
I've said this to you every year that we've known each other, that you've said that, and you've said it every year.
Yeah.
I hope it happens. I was so happy when they won. I would love for the Leafs. When the Caps did it, I was ecstatic. I would like for that to happen for you, sir.
I just think they are playing the right type of hockey right now.
They are.
They really are.
They are.
So there you go. All right.
And we're hosting the right kind of show because we're the best. Remember that. All right.
We are the best. I'm here next week, and then I'm going to do a show on location.
Wow.
I did this last year as well. I'm going to leave you with little tease. We'll reveal it next week. There you go.
That's a tease. Thanks for watching, everybody.